We have our final speaker for today, Darko Mesaroš, and let me introduce Darko a little bit. So, Darko is a senior developer advocate based in Seattle. His goal is to share his passion and technological know-how with engineers, developers, builders, and tech enthusiasts across the world. If it can be automated, it will be definitely to try to do so. That's a great sentence. Most of this his focus is toward DevOps and management tools, where automation, pipeline, and efficient development tools is the name of the game. Click less and code more, so you do not repeat yourself. Also, he collected a lot of old technology and tried to make it do what it should not, like deploy AWS infrastructure to Commodore 64. Darko will be talking about free open source tool set for your AWS Adventure. Don't forget share your questions to Darko, and we will discuss him after the session. So, Darko, hello. How are you?
Am I on? Hello, thank you so much, Dmitro. Thank you so much for having me here. And yes, a Commodore 64. Can we automate stuff through a Commodore 64? I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to automate stuff through a Commodore 64, but I'm going to take you on an adventure. I'm going to
Right.
talk about things you can use in your cloud adventure. So I guess we can kick it off, right?
Yeah, yeah. The stage is yours. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. First of all, Slava Ukraini. I'm super happy to be able to support this thing, and I wish all the best for the people in Ukraine. We can do this. Let's go on an adventure, right? What is this Darko you're showing us? Is that a video game? Yes, that's Minecraft, so please bear with me. So you, the wonderful developer, have woken up in a dungeon, in a cave. You decide you want to go on a cloud adventure. But you have no tools, you have nothing to work with. How do you go about? You need something. You know it's a wonderful, scary world out there that can bring so much benefit, so much pleasure to you as an engineer, but it can be complicated. It can be difficult at times. So let me take you on an adventure and find some tools, some armor, some maps that will help you along the way. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be going and talking about some wonderful open source tools out there that were built by the AWS community, by the people from, well, all over, that can help you when you start adventurizing in the cloud. Before I continue, I need to do some Minecraft stuff here. Just give me a second. Okay, cool. So you go out of your cave, you walk out, and hello, yes, hello, my name is Darko. I'm a developer advocate, as they say. But in heart, I am something they used to call a systems administrator. So I used to manage a lot of things way back where when IT engineers used to carry around screwdrivers. So I love to automate things. I love open source. I love things in the command line. I love things that are small little tools that help me what I do. So let me take you on an adventure where I can share some tools that will help you when it comes to doing stuff on AWS. So let's kick off this roller coaster if we can. All right. First thing, you join the cloud. You start doing stuff on the cloud, but things are scary, right? It's all out there. It's available to accessible to everybody, right? Somebody will hack what you're doing. Somebody will cause issues. So security is the thing you want to look into. You need to solve security issues. You need to lock down your AWS account. You need to make sure you give the right permissions to the right people. And you use something called identity and access management. And if you have ever used identity and access management to create policies and rules and permissions, you know that it can be cryptic, to say the least. What if there was a tool that can help you figure out what exact permissions you need for something specific you're doing? Let's say you're launching an EC2 instance. What permissions do you need to launch an EC2 instance? Is it just one permission or multiple? Let's say if you want to launch an EC2 instance and create an S3 bucket, what do you need? Let me show you a wonderful tool made by a wonderful gentleman called Ian, called IAM Live or IAM Live. What IAM Live does, it listens to the API calls you make to AWS and creates an IAM policy for you. Let's say you want to launch an EC2 instance and you want to make sure you know exactly which API call permissions you need. So IAM Live does that for you. How do you do that? How do you go about IAM Live? Well, you install it with brew. So there's a basically, if you're using macOS, there's a brew command you can do. Simple as that. I have it already installed. How does this work? Simple. IAM Live and dash set any. Happened. Actually, it is. It's listening. Now it's listening to calls you're about to make. So let me open up another tab. Let me split the window and let me make an AWS call. Let's say I want to list S3 buckets, right? I'll do that. That's the AWS CLI. Check this out. What is this here? IAM Live has created a policy that lists all buckets. Wonderful. If I do something, I don't know, AWS EC2 describe instances, to list all the instances, boom, added another permission to this one. Let's say I need to, I don't know, list AWS Connect instances. So AWS Connect list instances. Boom. 2 more permissions. Wonderful. Let's do something more. I want to run an instance. Now, I'm not going to type this out. I'm going to basically copy paste this thing here. Boom, 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 like that. This is a command that will run an EC2 instance in a specific region. If I do this, all of a sudden, we should get 1 more. No, we get few more. We get run instances, pass role, and create tags. That's it. Now I can copy paste this, create an IAM policy somewhere in IAM, and use it for these specific actions. It's a very, I wouldn't say simple, but a very intuitive way for you to create the appropriate permissions you need to secure your AWS account. So IAM Live, I'm going to be sharing these links with you. I don't know how, but hopefully somebody can do it. But if you search for IAM Live on GitHub, so IAM Live, you will find this as well. It's made by Ian, so it's a wonderful tool out there. Okay, let's go back to our adventure. All right, we have found a way to secure what we do. Let's get ourselves some equipment. I'm going to put on the armor we have. Security is better. All right, we've dealt with security. Well, you never dealt with security, but we're dealing with security. We have the armor. We have the tools to help us. Let's move on and continue our adventure. All right, security. We have that figured out. You launch EC2 instances. You build DynamoDB tables. You create your CloudFront distributions. You create NAT gateways. You create a whole lot of things in your infrastructure. You start building amazing applications, tools, projects, but then cost comes in. Now, cost can be a problem, especially in the cloud, right? You go and you buy yourself a computer, a server. You pay money for it, and that's it. The cloud costs as much as you use it. So what's the best way for you to determine the cost of your cloud adventure? How do you handle these things? What if there's a tool that could help you decipher, figure out, understand how much a certain thing you create would cost? Let's say you are launching your infrastructure through Terraform, right? Imagine that. And then you launch your stuff through Terraform and you want to know how much that Terraform template would cost, or CloudFormation, or something else. Well, let me talk to you about a wonderful tool called infra cost. It is just amazing. So let's move on to infra cost. Let's go that and this and this. What is infra cost? Infra cost will take a Terraform template, a CloudFormation template, and parse it through the pricing API and give you a rough estimate of how something would cost. So let's have a look. So what I have here is, I'm not going to write in Cyrillic. Give me a second. Oh, there we go. I have a template here, a simple template that will create an EC2 instance, nothing special. It will add a volume to it, and it will create an S3 bucket. I'm not going to launch anything here, but I'm going to use infra cost to determine how much does it cost. To install infra cost, brew install infra cost. That's it. There's nothing to it. Just run that. One more thing you need to do before infra cost would work, you need to register it. Basically, you need to get yourself a free API key so you can query the pricing API. You just need an email. So if you do like infra cost, yes, register. You run this, you will get your key. It will be all saved on your computer. That's a key for your specific email address. It's free. You don't have to do anything, but this is a required step. So what do I have in my template? An EC2 instance, some storage attached to it, and an S3 bucket. How would you figure out how much that costs? Well, you go to the pricing page, you look at the C6 instance. Okay, that's the cost. This is going to be my monthly cost, and this is how a bucket would cost per file. This is the price, like how much files I will store, how much data I will store, how much retrievals, how much, all of those things. Okay, that gets complicated. I can do this: infra cost, breakdown, and then path. The path is to the template because it's currently sitting within the same directory. If I just do this, it's going to look for my main.tf, and based off of that, it's going to calculate the costs. Evaluating. Would you look at that? There's an instance called web app, and it will cost me $111 per month in this specific region. The volume is going to cost me $10. The bigger, more expensive volume is going to cost me $25-ish, I think. S3 bucket gives me a rough cost per gigabyte. It gives me a cost per requests for transfers, all of these things. And the overall total cost of this template is $298.69 per month. That's how much it costs. But this is very cool, right? So if I would go and change something, I don't know, let's do main TF, and let's get us an expensive instance. Let's do 8x large, right? 8x large. I think this should work. And let's increase the volume size from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes. That should give us more money, right? Save and clear. Let's do it again. It's going to take those changes, and boom, that's a lot more money. That's $1,000 a month. But now you get an estimate how much this costs. But Darko, S3 buckets, they can be very expensive, and we don't see the price for it. Fair. Here's the thing you can do. Infra cost gives you the ability to basically create a usage file. A usage file is a way to estimate usage. So I have a usage file here. Basically that says for this specific S3 bucket, I'm going to have, what is this? A lot of tags. I'm going to store 10,000 gigabytes. How much requests, how much data scan, return, all of these things. Add a bunch of stuff when it comes to an S3 bucket. And this is my estimated usage. If I do this, and then there's a big command here where I will do this like that. This command basically does the same thing, breaks down, but it uses the usage file to do some calculations. So if I do this, all of a sudden, I see that my bucket is going to cost money. For 10,000 gigabytes, that's $230. With some transfers and gets and such, like this is how much it's going to cost. Beautiful, amazing. Okay, now let's try to compare things, right? You want to say, oh, well, you know what? I want to make sure that if I choose different things, I want to see how much it's going to cost me. We see the difference, we remember. But imagine it's a more complex Terraform template. One of the things you can do, you can create a breakdown file. You can create the cost of this right now. So if I'll do this, this will create a JSON object, a JSON file. Wait a second, let me go back like that. Okay, it's going to create a JSON file with the cost of this one. So it's going to calculate, it's not going to output anything to the screen, but to a JSON object. Now, if I go and change my main.tf file here, and I'll change it from, again, I'm going to remove the 8x large to something else. I'm going to go back to, you know what, we're fine with 1,000 gigs, but we're going to need 1,000 IOPS. Save that, save it, and now I can run the following command. This command here will basically create a diff. It's going to create an infra cost diff. What this is going to do is take your previous cost file and the current cost, and it's going to create a difference. You see how much we're going to save $700 on this instance because we went from an 8x large to an X large. We're going to save $125 because we went from a terabyte to 2 terabytes to a terabyte. And because we increased the provisioned IOPS, we've added $13 to our bill. So overall, we lost 61% of the cost here. And this is cool, right? You kind of can see how this will look like when you create these massive, complicated Terraform or CloudFormation files. Beautiful. You have the visibility. You have the map, how much your Cloud Adventure will cost. So you can kind of tread carefully. You can tread with confidence that this thing, what you do, is going to work. Let's go back. Okay, let me pick up some stuff. We need our map. We need our compass. Our compass, now we have the knowledge what lays ahead, how much stuff will cost. All right, let's move on. Now, cost is one thing. You start building things. You've seen Terraform. You see CloudFormation. You see a whole lot of things out there that start to create your infrastructure. You create code. You create applications. And there starts to be a lot of code. Now, code is wonderful. Code is great. Code helps you deploy things. Code helps you calculate the costs. You create your CloudFormations, your Terraforms, your Kubernetes configuration files. But as your Cloud Adventure expands, as you venture forward, get more friends on your adventure, more people start working on the same types of code projects, things get complicated. So I'm not going to teach you about Git or Subversion or code management utilities. I'm going to teach you something about code generation, project generation. So I'm going to talk to you about a tool, an open source tool made by the wonderful Ben Israel. I think that's Ben Elaid. Ben created this wonderful tool called Progen. What Progen does is Progen generates professional code, professional generator. So it generates code for you in a controlled manner. Right? We all use CDK or Terraform or Kubernetes, and CDK has its own basically way to generate code. But think of Progen as CDK for CDK. We're getting meta here, right? So Progen will basically automatically create code that you wish to do. Why would you do that? Why would I care about that? Well, think about this. If multiple people are creating multiple different CDK projects, you want to be able to ensure that these people are using similar tools, similar approaches, similar stuff on this one as well. So let's say you want to include a specific data modeling file in every project, right? You would have to tell everybody to do it. With Progen, you can actually code it into a configuration file of Progen to create said code, to produce code, to add specific features, to add, Git pods, to add some Maven support, whatever you would like to do, you can all define it within a single Progen configuration file. So I'm going to create something here. mkdir, so it's demo Progen. I'm going to go into this directory. I'm going to get init. And I'm going to do npx progen new AWS CDK app TypeScript. So this is a template for a project for CDK applications written in TypeScript. You can go to the Progen GitHub page and see all of the supported templates. There's a bunch. There's literally for CDK, Kubernetes. There's for your typical TypeScript projects, JavaScript projects, so not AWS related. But if you decide to create a CDK thing, you can do this. And I'll do just something called no synth because I want to show you something. You do this, all of a sudden, no synth. Oh, well, no synth didn't work. So Progen, it generated a lot of things for me. It generated a whole directory of things for my CDK project. Everything's here, right? But the most important thing here is the Progen RC file. This is where you define a bunch of things. This is where you define your CDK versions, your dependencies, your files, your Git pod integrations, your Maven configurations. This is where you define all of these things. And then when you run something called npx progen, it takes stuff from there and applies it to this thing. There's nothing done right now, so nothing has been created. But let me take you to a project that I already have, and let's go to progen CDK, and I'm going to do progen RC. Right. So there's more things here. What I have here is the ability to create files. So I mentioned data modeling. What if you want to have a specific file always present in your CDK applications, like a data model for users, for example? The thing you can do here, you can basically tell Progen to create files. So with anybody who runs Progen, npx Progen, it's going to create these things. So you can automatically generate code based off of Progen. So if I go here and open up, let's do this. This is going to be better. So there's a file here called model TS. This is generated by Progen. If I go and change things like here, if I add like a entity, let's do something. Let's add something to the user model, phone, for example, and add the rest. That, save it, run Progen. Npx Progen. Progen will generate file, and all of a sudden, on the other side of the screen, you see there's a phone and there's an address. Now, if you have this Progen config file across your development environment, share it with people. Different developers use it. Everybody will have the correct tools to create the correct things. So you can move forward with the knowledge that your tool, that the things you are building are correct, that everybody's using the same thing. Now, Progen is a complex tool. I have just scratched the surface. So it's a wonderful tool for creating code projects, which we all do, and helping you kind of unify what you're doing across your team. So let's go back to our adventure. Right. Now we have the proper tools. Let's grab ourselves a sword and move on to our adventure. Well, actually, we're at the end of the line. There's no more adventure. Now you have the tools, you have the map, and you have the shield. It's time to walk forward on your adventure by yourself. So let's go. Let's go somewhere else. Let's take a stroll to some future things you may want to do. Now, in the future, more challenges arise. More things come as a problem or as a hurdle to your cloud adventure. So let's walk over the bridge and let's go over to the forest of open source, or open source, well, forest of open source. I think that's the name of this forest. Let's go to the forest of open source and let's check out some more open source tools that can help you along the way. I'm not going to go too deep into these tools. I just want to quickly show you a few of them that will be just great for you. By the way, before we enter, I want questions from you. So make sure to post the questions in the chat or wherever you can do them. I want to answer something as well. Okay, forest of open source. Let's have a look at some wonderful tools. Former 2. What is Former 2? Former 2 is a wonderful tool if you ever wanted to create infrastructure, if you ever wanted to create CloudFormation templates from your existing infrastructure. Now, this is not a command line tool. This is a web. Basically, let me bring it up here. This is a browser plugin. It's a browser plugin that basically uh, installs, authenticates to your account. It gets read-only permission to your account, and it gets the resources you have and delivers a cloud formation template, or I believe there's a bunch more things that are supported in your account. This is wonderful if you're getting started with cloud formation and you don't know how to type, but you already built things in the cloud. It's you just click a button, you get a cloud formation template, and use it in the future. This is also made by the wonderful Ian, which is just amazing. All right, let's move on. AWS LS. What is AWS LS? Oh, I love this tool. AWS LS. You know, you have a lot of stuff on your AWS account. So sometimes you just need to figure out how to list those things, how to figure out what you have. How many IAM roles do you have? How many EC2 instances do you have? Well, AWS LS, as the name says, lists those things for you. So if you do this, and you also install it with brew. So there's brew, install Jake. Well, let me paste the command. I don't want to butcher. Like this, boom, boom. It will install AWS LS. What can this rule? What can this do? AWS LS, AWS IAM role. And if you give it a second, you will get a list of all of your IAM roles within your AWS account. Wow, that's great. What if you do AWS instance? You will see all of the AWS instances you have. Wonderful, right? You can do something like, I don't know, AWS Lambda function. There we go. And well, I don't have any Lambda functions in this region. So what I can do regions and say EU West 1, and it will show me all of the Lambda functions within region EU West 1. Wonderful. What if I want to do this? AWS LS, AWS instance. I want to get more information. I can actually list more attributes of an instance. So I can do tags all. It will show me AWS instance. There we go. It will show me the tags of all of my instances. So it should list a bunch of stuff. In a second, there we go. Instances along with their tags. Usually there's a name tag next to it. You can do also, for example, I don't know, instance state. This will show me if the instance is running or stopped. So you can get all of these things in the wonderful coziness of your command line, which is just wonderful. But that's just for viewing. Here's another thing you can do. It has its cousin. AWS LS has its cousin called AWS RM, which is AWS remove. Helps you remove instances. So if I would be running something like, I don't know, AWS LS AWS instance to show me all of the EC2 instances we have here, let's remove an instance. AWS RM, AWS instance, and let's do this one. I know which one I should remove, by the way. You do this, boom, it's going to remove this instance, delete it, basically terminate the instance for you, and then you can just let it go. Yes, I want that to be gone. Boom, boom. This is wonderful because you can actually list all of your instances in all of your regions, which is just great when you need to do some sort of inventory stuff on your account when you're playing around in the cloud. You don't want things to be kind of just lacking out there. Moving on. CloudMan or Cloud Manager. This is another great utility, which I'm going to show it to you. It is for all of the command line lovers out there. So CloudMan basically gives you this kind of a command line UI to work with EC2. So for example, I have an instance here. Right, these are my instances in the US West 2 region. Check this out. I can connect to it. Oh my God, look at that. I am connected to an EC2 instance. There we go. Simple as that. It is super simple. It is super quick, but it is wonderful. You can do all of the fun things here, like I don't know, close that. You can do F6 actions. You can terminate an instance like that. That's it. But dry run flag is set. All right, I can't do that. So you need to disable this thing. But it's a really neat terminal way to do it. So if you have a Commodore 64 that is connected to the internet somehow, and you can connect to a Linux instance, you can do that. I guess if that's your jam. All right, moving on. A couple more things. Where does our adventure take us? All right, here we go. Something very nice. I'm not going to show this. It's called AWS Nuke. AWS Nuke destroys your AWS account. If you create stuff, if you build stuff, you play with stuff, and you want to make sure everything is gone, AWS Nuke is the tool for you. It's going to delete everything from your account. Be very careful with this tool. It destroys all of the resources, but it is wonderful. Something coming from AWS itself. AWS Lambda Power Tools. Power Tools are just an amazing addition to Lambda functions. They can enable you to have easy tracing and logging and metrics. It's just a wonderful open source utility that you basically plug into your Lambda functions, and that's it. And it works really, really good. Now, time to approach the edge of the forest. And let me ask you, and I want to hear this in the chat, in the comments if you can. What is your favorite open source tool? What is the open source tool that makes your day better? What is this thing that helps you in your cloud adventure? It doesn't have to be AWS. It can be any cloud adventure. Please do let me know. I wish I can see the chat and talk to you right now, but yeah, do tell me that. And finally, I guess I'm ready for questions, if there are any. So before I do that, let me just one more thing here. I wanna say to everybody here, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for sticking around for this weird presentation. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, and thank you so much.
That was really awesome, man. Just wow. The first, yeah, the first presentation in Minecraft.
There
That's
you
really
go.
wow.
I hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of communication in chat about that style, yeah, and presentation skill. That was awesome. I'm just realized that
I'm
I
happy.
need additional book storage. You have three behind of you. Yeah, I need also additional one because I have a empty space.
There
And
you go.
read. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, just a funny question from Anton Babienko. Probably he
Anton.
knows you, yeah, personally. What is the oldest technology or operation system do you have a tattoo on your body? Is it MS DOS?
So for you, don't I have like weird tech tattoos on myself? Like I have the MS DOS logo and whatnot. But I think the oldest thing I have on me is the tattoo of a Zilog Z80. It's the CPU from a ZX Spectrum, and I have a MOS 6502 from the Commodore 64. So and for the people who notice, I have some assembly language written here as well. So
Awesome. Awesome. There are a lot of tool sets, and I really don't know about them. So thank you for sharing. When you delete, by the way, that EC2 instance, I'm just think, come on, if it's really production system and Darko just deletes some instance, it's scary one.
it's scary. Of course, like if we're looking at production systems, you're probably not going to be using AWS RM to delete that. But if you're experimenting, building, trying things out, right, learning, it is really cool to have a really quick way to kind of list the stuff you're building and delete them from the command line. You know, the thing you don't want to do to a developer, you don't want to take them out of their text editor, out of their IDE, out of their command line. Don't go out of there. That's the nice place.
That's right. Yeah, and this almost the last one, Total Commander for EC2.
Yeah, exactly.
This
Wonderful.
interface and just wonder, yeah.
Beautiful.
That's really great presentation, and we actually don't have a lot of questions. And thank you for
That's
your
okay.
time, man. Great,
I appreciate
great
it.
experience. Yeah, and guys, you should copy this style. Actually, the audience, That's really amazing. Yeah, I think it's not copyright. Okay,
No,
thank
it's
you for it.
thank you all so much. Bye.